So one of the most important aspects that we study in Buddhism is the concept of 10 worlds, which basically explains Buddhahood as the highest life state. And in very simple terms, Buddhahood or the highest life state is when the world of anger or the state of hunger or envy or greed or foolishness is not prevalent in my life, but rather there is a state where I act or I behave with everybody with wisdom and with compassion. So SGI President Dr. Ikeda gives an example of persimmons, which is a fruit which is bitter by nature. But what Dr. Ikeda explains is that when this fruit is exposed to sunlight or is dipped in lemon water, then this fruit becomes sweet. Similarly, all our lives are deluded. We go through feelings of ignorance, we go through feelings of greed, anger and foolishness. But when we have the sunlight of Nichiren Daishonin's philosophy shine in our own life, and when we practice it earnestly, then we see that there is a highest potential of Buddhahood, or as we may say, the enlightened one or the Buddha, which manifests in our life, which is the quality of wisdom, of compassion, of courage. To highlight what I think of what a Buddha is. The country that I come from, India, has a strong connection to Buddhism, and keeping that in mind, I just thought that I would first explain about a bit about Gautam Buddha. So as we all know, that Shakyamuni or Gautam Buddha was a young prince who was actually kept secluded from the sufferings of aging, birth, sickness and death. And when he kind of came across these sufferings by following different austerities, religious practices, he finally attained enlightenment. And that is when actually he was given the name of the Buddha. So in Sanskrit, Buddha actually means the enlightened one. But from the beginning of my practice is something that I've understood is when Nichiren Daishonin says that when one's mind is deluded, one is called an ordinary being. But when one's mind is enlightened, one is called a Buddha. And that is what I have tried to practice in my own life. I have tried to manifest the ability or the qualities of wisdom and of compassion in my own life. And one of the incidents that actually made me go through or practice to become a Buddha was when I studied a concept which says that to single-mindedly desire to see a Buddha. And it was at that time when I was going through a tough situation at work, and there was one superior who usually people did not like at work, and everybody was sort of did not want to interact much with him because he was a bit of a negative person. And somehow I would always see that I was always asked to interact the maximum with him. And one of the reasons that my superior gave me was that the reason why we want you to interact is because somehow when he talks to you, there is compassion that comes out instead of just negativity. And I really felt that that was also because of the practice that I follow, and really to be able to respect the Buddhahood in another person. And I felt that as I would I would chant about it, I would see that I would be able to manifest compassion in my own life, which in turn would manifest his compassion towards me. And because of that, we were able to really work very closely on a lot of projects which were kind of deadlocked and were not moving. But as two people partnered together, I felt that, and they were able to bring about their best potential, we were able to make a lot of successful projects.